Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. Buzz, 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 buzz. It's Blake's Buzz Live. More, hate less, read comics. It's Blake's Buzz Live.
Buzz, buzz, babies.
All right, buzz babies. It's me. It's Blake. You know who I am. I don't know why I always introduce myself on these things. Who the hell else would I be? But hey, I got some cool guests tonight to bring in. I'm very, very excited to talk about them. And guess what? It's Wednesday. It's New Comic Book Day. It's a good day for everybody, right? It's exciting times. That great day of the week where we all usually spend way too much money to add to a read pile that will never diminish. It just piles up and piles up. But hey, we're here for here for it, right? We buy too many books, we support the creators we love, and I like bagging and boarding stuff, right? It's just very serene experience for me. I can put on a movie, bag and board, put them all in a pile, and then never read the books. No, I'm just read the books. It's important. And speaking of important books that you need to read, I have two really awesome creators here, the genius minds behind that IDW series Canto that you may have heard about. I've got illustrator Drew Zucker, writer David Booher. What is up, gentlemen? I'm so excited to talk to you guys tonight. Let me tell you, how you doing?
Doing great.
Amazing.
And I was telling these guys in the green room, I think I am the last person on earth to read Canto. I came to the game late, and I was so wrapped up in this story. It's so charming and beautiful and like hits you with the feels. And I love the description too, where it's like an all ages tale, akin to like Dante's Inferno, because Dante's Inferno is the age old all ages tale, right? Like
absolutely.
we mixed it in with Wizard of Oz, so we got there.
The Dante's Inferno pop-up book is a phenomenal read for ages 4 and up.
Oh, that's funny. I do a Blake and Cole read a book on Tuesday nights where we like review a recent trade, and I talked about being raised Catholic, and when my Baptist buddy as like I was in grade school, like told me about the book of Revelations and the rapture and shit, and like finding out about that. And I mean, it sent me down a wild spiral, right? Where like every day I was like waking up, I was scared that trumpet was gonna sound, and like, you know, I wasn't a good enough Catholic schoolboy. I was going to be like, you know, stuck here with all the heathens. And that, of course, like now I'm like obsessed with like religious horror movies and possession flicks and all that good stuff. But yeah, I also read Dante's Inferno.
That's how it starts.
During the rapture, we're going to have way more fun. I promise you. The heathens will
listen, they're going to get up there and just find out that it's nothing but the DMV.
It's just waiting in line all the time.
Yeah, it's all it is. It's just waiting in line on an escalator. It's gonna be horrible.
Oh man, yeah, leave me here.
That's so funny you say that. We just vacationed in Ireland for a little under 2 weeks.
Oh, cool.
And like the Catholic vibe in Ireland is very strong. Everywhere you go, there's churches that are 500 million years old, and it's all Catholic. Everything is Catholic. So I feel you. We got a bunch of rainbows. We got like 10 rainbows on 10 different occasions. So that was a highlight.
Nice. I've wanted to go there. My dad's family is my mom's family is very Italian. Like my mom's maiden name is Ragusa. My dad's family is very Irish, and so like I can drink a lot of alcohol and I can get really, really mad when I get angry, right? I got like the best traits of both cultures. And I can cook too. So yeah, I've wanted to go to Ireland I used to be like obsessed with the IRA and like the bombings and like the hunger strikes and stuff and all. Like,
I used to tell you, we went to Belfast and we were in Northern Ireland, and
Belfast is a different world.
We took a black cab tour, and I didn't know what this was, and it's somebody giving you a tour of the sites of the 80s and 90s IRA conflict
Wow.
between the Catholics and the Protestant, the peace
Yeah.
walls, and they still
Yep.
have peace walls up, and they have gates that still close at 7 p.m. every night and open at
Yep.
6 a.m. every morning,
Wow.
to keep the peace between the Protestant neighborhoods and the Catholic neighborhoods. And it is just, it is a wild, it
They
is
had
a
a journalist
wild
get killed over
experience.
there not too long ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, they got caught in some crossfire or something. But it's still stuff still goes on there.
That's crazy. Yeah. I in my undergrad, I did like some research on it, and like some of the hunger strikers, like in prison when they were like refusing to
Yeah.
eat, like some of them like wrote these essays and poetry like on like with paper and pencil. I mean, obviously they didn't have like computers and laptops in there, right? But like they're all this literature came out of it, like a very very beautiful, moving, heartfelt, like revolutionary literature. And it was just like the more I learned about it, I was just like hungry for it, right? It was just like,
Mhm.
just to have that kind of like, I mean, it was a terrible deal, and lots of bad stuff happened. But I mean, I guess I hope I never have like that kind of drive in my life to lead me right down a series of escapades like that. But just like the passion and the torment that those people went through, and to, like use that to as the like to fund their cause and like propel them into like
It did. It changed everything.
Yeah.
yeah.
But lest you think that it's all modern history, we also stayed in a castle, so that was pretty cool.
And, and for a little more modern history, fun side note, Canto's visual language was actually developed in Ireland.
Oh, really?
Yes, because when we were getting started on it, like in earnest, I actually was in Ireland for about 2 weeks, traveling across from Dublin across the entire like southwest, from like the entire southern half of the country.
Oh,
And I
wow.
have a sketchbook that a lot of the initial designs that are in volume one came from.
That's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. That's I'd love to see that sketchbook. You can fucking draw, Drew. I'm just gonna
Thank
throw
you.
that out there. Like, oh my god. And David, you can fucking write. Like I don't want to leave you
Uh,
hanging. Like I don't lift both you up here, but like you two are quite the dynamic comic book duo. Like and it's I think a lot of people are very
oh,
excited.
Blake, stop. Go on.
The,
Go
the,
on.
the gruesome
Go on.
twosome.
More. I
I
know the
think
gruesome
people
twosome.
are really excited about this super secret, super spooky project you got happening at Zoop, right? That we're gonna learn more about
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the coming weeks, like into the spooky season. Is I like
Yeah. So it's
I
going to
like it.
be, yeah, we're going to reveal it
Hmm.
just a week from tomorrow. Uh, yeah, Drew and I are both big horror fans. It was kind of funny that we landed on this all ages fantasy Canto
Yes.
to sort of kick off our partnership. Plus, sort of, I would say that that was probably our break into the industry. I did a couple things, he did a couple
Oh
things,
yeah.
but this kind of opened all of our doors. So it's funny that we did that fantasy, that all ages fantasy series, which we love. We love fantasy, but we also, like, in our heart of hearts, in our DNA, is
We
horror.
love
So
horror.
Nice.
yeah, and you can even see a little bit of that influence in Canto, where we didn't pull back. We made it like Dark Crystal, Neverending Story, Labyrinth,
Yeah.
Secret of Nim. Those aren't those are scary.
When
Um,
you get deeper into Canto, there's actually quite a bit of Lovecraft that's kind of like
Ooh,
sprinkled that throughout like designs.
nice. Nice.
uh,
I like
yeah. So
anytime Lovecraft gets sprinkled on anything, it just makes it better, right? Like
As long
that's
as you as long as you don't actually read Lovecraft, you're
yeah,
fine.
yeah,
you're
the
not cursed.
influence is different than the guy. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
100%.
yeah,
Um,
the guy's a racist prick, but the influence and the tentacles and Cthulhu, like all that shit
Yes.
is cool. I still have a theory that like without that writing style, right? Because like the Cthulhu was a mockumentary, right? It was
Mhm.
written like science journals, published like science journals. A lot of people thought that it had that like War of the Worlds kind of
Yeah.
mentality about it, right? Like people thought it was real when they were reading it because it felt like it felt sourced and authentic and researched and like so I'm pretty sure without any of that, like I don't see, like I like to joke, but I'm kind of serious about it. Like, would we have The Office? Would we have Parks and Rec? Would we have would we have found footage horror? Like with all these
Right.
big iconic like genres that we all love, like unfortunately goes back.
This is my first time I've ever heard anybody make any argument that the DNA of The Office originated with Lovecraft. It's funny.
Hey,
Blair
that's
Witch's
what
fault.
happens on Blake's Buzz. You never know what's gonna happen.
That's funny.
But yeah, I really
but
love what you
you
guys
know,
are doing.
yeah. So Cthulhu got its little tentacles into me and Drew when we were young, and just like made us lovers of horror. So, Drew had a dream.
Literally.
Literally. So we were
So
working on an idea. This is like the backstory. We were working on an idea, but I can't even remember what it is now. But I thought it was cool. And then Drew's like, I had this dream. What was your dream, Drew?
so
You can't really say. Don't say the details.
Yeah. So okay, I a little backstory on me. I dream very, very lucidly.
Okay.
It's not all the time, but it is not uncommon for me to dream how you would normally dream, where things are out of sequence and it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
What happens though is that I'm very aware that I'm in a dream, and things will register with that they're real to me. So something will have weight. My brain will trick itself into electrical signals. If I touch something, it'll go, this has mass and weight to it, but it's very obvious that I'm in a dream.
Okay.
And occasionally I will remember these dreams when I wake up, but they tend to kind of, if I don't write it down right away, sometimes it's nonsense. It just makes absolutely no sense. And then sometimes there's a bit more structure to it. And in the instance of this project, there was a little more structure to it. And I was like, I should probably write this down. This might actually be something. So I have the original notes in my phone, and I've gone back and looked at them, and it is straight up the ravings of a madman. Like I should be committed for what I wrote down.
But honestly, that's why we were a good team, because he came to me with this and he's like, I had this dream. What about this? And I was like, that sounds so terrible. I said, that's a good idea. And so we tossed out our previous idea, and I took the rantings of a madman in the mouth of madness, to speak of Lovecraft again. And we crafted it into this one-shot horror story, 32 pages. It's going to be 40 pages total, square bound, one-shot, single serving horror story. That I think I love what we did. I think Drew crushed it in the art department. It's got a cool twist at the end. It just feels very, a lot of our influences are things like Twilight Zone and Creepshow, Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt, that kind of thing. And this feels very much to me like one of those episodes. You can even see in the book when you get it, when you back the Zoop campaign.
Yes,
you'll see that in the front. It starts with a quote from a Twilight Zone episode that has always sort of stuck with me, and it ends with an Edgar Allan Poe quote that has also really stuck with me. So, kind of bookends this story. It's really cool. Everyone who's watching, who's listening, we're doing some variant covers that you will be able to get through Zoop.
Nice.
But the unique thing that we're doing with the campaign, Blake, is that Drew and I are very much supportive of the collector's market in addition to the reader and comic market. So this Zoop campaign is going to have variants that will only be available while the campaign is live. We're not going to be offering copies of it afterward, and we're never going to be reprinting these covers again. So the variants that are going to be available for those 30 days are going to be there, and then they're going to be gone.
Very exclusive. We like that. We like that here. We like
the idea is that so and they're all going to be limited copies. Even the main cover is going to be limited to 500, because the goal, we went with Zoop because Zoop is more of, it's not Kickstarter where you're just trying to go for a goal. It's more of a menu of pre-ordering.
Mhm.
So you can pre-order your variants. You can pre-order whichever, add-ons you want, that sort of thing. But we're limiting each one. There's going to be a 500 print run as the main, and then 100, 150, and 100 for the other variants. And once those are gone, they're just sort of gone.
Wow.
And then the idea is that we'll partner with a publisher down the road with a new cover, a new version of this one shot that will then offer up to the general audience of comic shops.
Cool.
So you can jump on board early, you can get it later, but I would suggest getting it on early, because when we announce that it's been an option for a TV show or movie or whatever, you're going to want these exclusive ones, right?
Yeah. And I've gotten to read it. I had the benefits of I work at Metal Ninja Studios. I work for Joel, who's working.
You do?
Yeah, I do. And so like I had it before I asked, like you guys let me read it, but like it was in the work.
It was in the office.
Yeah. And so I got to see some stuff too. But I was very lucky and I got to read it early, and I put the link. The link is in the chat. It's in the YouTube description, but you guys can see it. You can go here and click the link and get signed up. And I very much encourage you to do so, because this is a fucking really good one shot. The art is great. Like Drew, as I mentioned before, like I could look at Drew's artwork all day. I really could. And this is.
Do you have the one image?
Raw.
Do you have the image that we sent you?
Hold on, somewhere.
Can you share that?
Yeah.
This is just a piece of the cover. We haven't even revealed.
It's not even the whole thing.
Let's see.
And for you eagle-eyed 90s babies, you will recognize what the influence is.
Let me get this open.
I don't even know that.
It may be a little after your time.
All right. Share the old screen here. And
anyway, continue to heap praise on us, please.
Oh yeah,
we run on props.
Yeah, it's here's the sneak peek.
There it is.
It's and it's oh my god, that scene too. Is there a little? I mean, I don't want to say too much, but I mean like a little bit of Dorian Gray inspiration. Spring, like loosely. I mean, not the immortal. You know what? Maybe not. There's a thing.
I've never read Dorian Gray, so
yeah.
No. The answer is no.
All right, never mind.
I can see where there will be parallels, because it is as you read it. I just wish we could share more, but we're being so coy about it, because as I said before we went live, we are insufferable monsters, and we just want to make ourselves seem way more important than we are.
I will tell you that, like, from at least for me, so I started out in horror because I did a Kickstarter for The House, which I did with Philip CV, and started on Kickstarter and eventually made its way to Dark Horse.
Nice.
And it's always kind of been, the goal for me is always you're kind of limited in what you can do with horror within a comic. It's not a movie, it's not TV. You lack the ability to, set the pacing through editing, through sound, through all that stuff. So really what you have to find other tricks in order to scare people and build that through atmosphere. And that's really what I chase after whenever we get to do these horror projects, is how do I kind of make the reading experience unsettling for somebody? You
do that a lot in these 30-something pages.
And it's it's a slow burn, and I have that challenge too. It's like you can't do jump scares in comics. You can't appeal to. I mean, I guess if you make something really, really gruesome and twisted, you can sort of appeal to like a base instinct.
Yeah.
But in comics, you have to like build dread and tension.
Yeah, it's all about the tension,
fear, and you got to make people care about these characters and like what's going to happen to them. So that's the challenge.
Yeah, and your character isn't the easiest to care about initially, right? Because you're just kind of like, he's not like. He's not
I was reading, so I've listened to I've listened to a lot of true crime podcasts,
Mhm.
Yes.
and a lot of them, like the serial killer podcasts, a lot of them have. And I've thought about this a lot, and I've read the one shot many times while I think about this. And a lot of the serial killers start out by being with really like violence as children or neglect or something awful happens to them, and then they grow up and they turn out to be awful monsters of human beings. And a lot of these podcasters, and I appreciate the way they talk about it, which is you can feel sympathy for the kid, but don't feel sympathy for the adult, because there's still, those are all affirmative choices that the adult's making to be this monster. So that was something that I think is, we had the opportunity to explore in this, that dichotomy between I don't like this guy, and then I feel bad for what happened, and then and you find other things out, you're like, now I don't. And so it's sort of that roller coaster. We don't need you to feel sympathy for the main character, as long as you're feeling some emotion about it, whether you're happy with how it all turns out, whether you're upset, all of that, just feel something.
Which you do. You feel a lot. You guys are very manipulative of your audience in a short amount of time, right? I mean,
I feel like we're about to talk about Canto.
I just almost said because it's like right off the bat, like Canto, he's this little guy. He's this little guy, right? He's this little dude, and he's got these nice little. He's got these the kindest eyes, right? And he's got this
kind eyes.
and then he's got a name, and he's got kind of a girlfriend, right? And he's got his quest is one of like a very noble and heroic quest, and he takes off into this giant world with no hope.
Do you want me to pitch it?
Pitch it. Yeah,
I have a 20-second pitch.
Do it. Let me hear your con table pitch. Yeah.
You want to do the half-hour pitch?
Nah. 20 seconds. So Canto is a little clockwork knight. Well, let me get a visual aid.
You pitch. I will give you the visual aids. Here you go.
Canto is this little clockwork knight in search of a heart. So his people have been enslaved. They're not allowed to have names. They're not allowed to love one another. When they were taken, their hearts were removed and replaced with clocks. So when their time is up, that's it. But Canto, he defies all those rules. He has a name, and he loves a little clockwork girl. But when her clock gets damaged beyond repair, he's got to go out in his great big fantastical world. Think Labyrinth, Dark Crystal, Never-Ending Story. And he has to find where they've taken their hearts to bring hers back to save her. So what I'd like to say is part of fantasy, part adventure, and all heart.
Oh, that's good.
I haven't done
He's
done
got
it 4 million times.
That's if I was walking by your guys' table and you said that to me with like variants and trades all spread, I'd fucking throw some money at you. I'd be like, okay, here you go. But yeah,
we still hard pitch it.
The way you manipulate your audience and in Canto, it's very effortless. In Super Secret Super Creepy Zoop Project, that's not the title, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. You'll find out in the coming days what it is. But in the new comic, you guys spend a lot more effort pulling us and tugging us and making us uncomfortable, exercising those tensions. The scenes with the younger character at night. Oh my! I held my breath. I really did. I was like, it was like a waking nightmare, or and it was just like my hands clenched and I held my breath and I was like, and I was scared for this character, and I was like scared for me. I was like, what are these guys going to make me look at? And it was very, very intense.
Oh, it's nothing. I mean, so trigger warning. There are some serious implications in this secret project.
It
but
is not
it's all off camera. It's not. It's all off panel. It's not. It's suggested. It's not visualized.
I think that goes back to what we were talking about with how you do this kind of stuff in comics. That you have to be super intentional with what you're doing and what you want to show and what the angles and the pacing is going to be. For me, I've always found that one of the tricks that kind of works for this is a lot of panels and a lot of close-ups to get you to a larger image.
Yeah.
It's just there's a lot of visual trickery that and just storytelling beats that you have to build into this kind of storytelling that isn't necessarily going to be in, say, 90% of what the rest of the industry puts out. And I think it's something that's really difficult to kind of get your head around. And I've only read 2 or 3 series that really kind of bugged me to the point of being scared.
Okay, you need to drop those titles because it's spooky season and I need to know.
one is Severed.
Yeah, Snyder. Yeah, baby.
Yes.
All right.
So I read that right around the time of Court of Owls, which brought me hardcore back to comics, and I was like, nice. I don't know what I just read, but this just scared the living hell out of me.
Yeah.
And right now I'm in the middle of Domu, which is the guy that did Akira. It was the project he did before Akira.
Okay.
And it's basically about this old man that lives in a apartment complex and is causing people to kill themselves with telekinetic powers until a little girl moves into the apartment complex with the same powers. And it sounds like superhero stuff. And then I'm reading it last night and I'm like, oh no, this is a horror book. Oh my God.
That's cool. That sounds cool.
Yeah, it sounds
it's great.
The current spooky season reading, and I recommend every single person run out as fast as possible and get this book. It's called Dwellings.
Yeah.
By Jay, I can't remember his last name, but it's Oni Press Dwellings. It's drawn like Richie Rich, Little Lotta, the Peanuts, the 1950s sort of Harvey comic style, but it's hardcore horror,
fucked up,
violent stuff, and it's like short. It's
this looks hilarious.
Each issue I think is 2 short stories, and the reason I love this series is because it's so different from everything else that's out there. I read comics over and over again, and the comics that I try to make are the ones that I want to read that feel different from a lot of the stuff that's out there. This feels so different from everything that's out there that I went out and I bought every variant cover. I'll be getting every variant cover. I just so love this series for what it's doing to push comics a bit forward, in the horror space, but also just comics generally. And it's a beautiful square bound 44-page issue, which now, after doing this one shot, which is going to be it's a total of 40 pages, so it's going to be square bound. I just love, it's like Last Ronin, these beautiful, substantial single issues that just feel better than a stapled floppy that's 20 pages. You feel like you're getting more for your money, even if it's only $4.99 for the square bound.
Yeah, square bound, perfect bound stuff. I love it. It's very like I love it so much I can't talk. It feels expensive. It feels like prestige, right? Like an oversized hardcover. It's really nice. Real quick, guys, because I'm so good at running my show. Everybody who watches me knows I suck at this. I have not said hi to anybody in the chat yet. We've been talking for 28 minutes. We got Ronan. Thanks for tuning in. Ronan always hangs out. He's from Australia. He likes tuning in. He's a big crowdfunder fan. So you'll probably get a backer out of him. I'm thinking he's usually pretty good about supporting the community. We got comic creator Ian Mondrick. What's up, dude? He liked the Afterlife is like the DMV. That's definitely that we started high with the Afterlife like the DMV, and that the Office came from Cthulhu. We started strong. That's all that matters.
It's all downhill from there.
Then it goes down. We got John Westoff in the house. What's up, John? John's got Part-Time Comics has a really cool campaign going on right now for a trio of comics that you should all check out. And we got Sons of Mjolnir in the house. What's up, Buzz baby? Thanks for tuning in. They have another great show that you guys should check out. They do creator interviews and stuff. Awesome nerds. Thank you guys for tuning in. And so yeah, anyways, I am definitely gonna have to check. I love Severed. I love Snyder. I remember like the New 52 brought me back into comic book shops. I was really into Watchmen, right? And so like when they announced like before Watchmen, I was picking all that up, and then like the New 52 kind of started happening around then, or it was already happening around then because I remember I had to go get back issues for. But anyways, like the Snyder Capullo Batman run was amazing, and yeah, the Court of Owls stuff was just like wow. And then you know, like you do, when you find somebody that you get into, then you go
backwards,
and you go and you start looking up, and yeah, like dude, Severed was right. The teeth, that basement, the body part removal. It's oh man, the art too. The art is so like visceral and gnarly.
It's such a book that no one really knows about. It kind of flew under the radar because I want to say it came out right at the same time as Court of Owls, and Court of Owls just sucked all the air out of the room, as it rightly should. It's incredible, but Severed is really probably some of his best work.
Yeah, it's that old school, like ruthless, not in dad mode Scott Snyder. You know, because I mean, I love him and I love his writing still, but he calmed down a little bit when he had his kids, and then when he had his most recent son, there was like they had like some health issues and stuff, and so like he just he didn't go as dark, and again, still a great writer. He just kind of changed, like his tone changed a little bit, as it does sometimes. Like as whether you're an artist or a writer, like your voice and tone and style, it changes as you get older and mature and experience new things, right? So like don't think I'm like talking smack on him. I still love his stuff, but Severed is special. Like it's ruthless and it's mean. And it's something very cool. And yeah, Dwellings, I also agree, David. I
have you read it?
Yeah, I backed it on Kickstarter when it was coming out.
What?
On Kickstarter.
You have the Kickstarter variant?
I have the Kickstarter variant. Yeah, so like I
gotta go back.
There. I was there and I got like the postcards and the extra stuff that they sent out, and
he's gonna start trading Canto stuff for it in a minute.
yeah. Well, that's good. I mean, I didn't discover it until it started getting the buzz when it was released through Oni, because Oni picked it up to publish it. So I mean, I'm a Harvey Comics fan. I love cartoon comics all the way from the 50s through the 80s and 90s. So this was right in my alley, and then you start reading it, and you're like, the crow is eating a Rich's eyeball, and I love it.
Yeah, it's great. The illustrations are so good and strong, and yeah, that juxtaposition, right, of the soft, innocent art with the like what's actually happening on the page.
It's like if Charles Schultz adapted the movie Seven to comic book form. That's literally what it is. It's like Harvey Comics presents Saw. It's just so good.
That's so awesome.
I would watch that movie.
I would. Yeah, I would do. I would.
I want to do a pull quote for them so they can put it on there, and it's going to be Harvey Comics presents Saw. That's what it is.
I'm sure they would let you. I would. If I had a book, I'd be like, yes, the writer of Canto can please give me a pull quote for the upcoming trade. You guys should reach out and connect. I'm sure he's got Kickstarter. You could trade your pull quote for some Kickstarter.
I'm friendly with the folks at Oni, so I might reach out to them and be like, I will forcibly provide a pull quote that you must use if you want to preserve any sort of relationship going forward.
There you go.
It's up to you. It's your option.
He's gone to his go-to move.
Power move, baby.
When you were talking about manga. Oh, sorry.
Don't you know who I am? Blake? Don't you know who I am?
I do now.
People-
I've seen the real David.
Oh, he is speaking of cosmic space monsters from beyond the stars.
It's the only thing that can contain him.
I'm just the worst.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you both-
Blake, what were you saying about
you both
manga?
seem like terrible people, honestly. I've been trying to wrap this up since we
God, and
started.
together, forget about it. Gruesome twosome.
When Drew was talking about manga, I've the last couple years I've gotten really into it, and I love it, and it's cool like being so new into that scene. It's like getting into comics later in life. There's so much to explore, and I recently picked up. And this has never happened to me before. I love horror movies. I love being scared.
Oh my God, did you put something down?
I haven't read the following volumes yet. I got PTSD Radio, and PTSD Radio is they've just re-released it as three. It's like the double sized manga edition, so it's like 6 volumes in 3. And I read the first volume. I have like one of those reading lights that's like LED, and it goes around your neck.
Okay.
So you can like turn all the lights out and pop that on and like read scary stories in the dark. I love it. And so I'm reading this at night, and it was so good I couldn't stop. Like I read this like 2 volume, beast in like a couple hours, and it fucked me up, guys. It gave me nightmares. The art in it is like very akin to like The Ring and Ring You and stuff, and really, really strong page turns, really weird stuff with hair. And like, they took like very cliche horror elements of like, like the sounds at night, or when you like think someone like touches you and you turn around and nothing's there, right? Or little moments like that, and expanded upon them in real terrifying ways. And I read the first volume, and then I read about the creator, and basically like this guy quit writing this series because it was killing him. Like he bought this studio in Japan, and the people that worked in the studio with him all ended up quitting. Supposedly the studio was haunted. There was a broken shrine like right outside of the studio, and they like all this, there was like black fluid and stuff on the walls, and people were seeing stuff, and the creator the creator got all messed up, and it ended up being like the black stuff was mold, right? And he ended up getting this like blood disease, and he was hallucinating and feverish, and all while writing this book or this manga. And then like ended up going to the doctor, finally like went to the doctor. He thought he was going crazy, and they're like, dude, you have a fucking blood disease, you're about to die. and he got like treated and stuff, but he wouldn't go back to the manga. He wouldn't go back to the studio afterwards. And so it sounds like
an incredible J-horror movie to me.
Yeah.
Like a meta. So I've never seen that in a horror movie, where a manga writer and artist suddenly becomes haunted by their work. Basically.
Yeah, and it's supposedly all real, and like and there's 3 volumes of it, and I have them. I have the volume 2 and volume 3, and I just haven't, like, I'm not emotionally ready for it. I want to read it, like, and I'm like, I keep thinking
called
about
PTSD Radio.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to read it.
It's gnarly, guys. That's my goal for the spooky season, is to finally finish this. But yeah, it's that's
I'm glad we got you now before the book
ruins me,
consumes you. Yeah.
Like Blake was all nice.
Holy hell! No wonder everyone quit on him.
You see the black mold on the wall starting slowly in your studio, and then somebody eventually finds you, and it's like creep show. It's just consumed you. You're just a lump of black mold.
You joke. That's why we moved from our old apartment, was we had black mold.
Oh really? Yeah. It's serious shit. Like it'll get you.
It made me sick for like a year, because my landlord's solution was, you have mold killing paint. I put paint and board over it.
Yeah, you paint over it. That fixes it.
Like, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Come back here with mold killing paint again.
Windex on it. Problem solved.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very cool. I very much encourage everybody to check that out. And Severed, and then what was the one by the Akira writer creator?
Domu. That one's
Domu.
impossible to find.
Great,
I
of course
think
it is.
that one's like completely out of print. I
Now
found
you're gonna cost me a shit
well,
ton of money on
so,
eBay, aren't you,
well,
Drew?
I found PDFs of it
Okay.
floating around. So that's how I've had to. I hope somebody at some point reprints that because I would buy that up in a heartbeat.
Yeah, I would too, because Akira's what got me into manga. I bought that beautiful
Akira
box
is
set on
yes,
sale.
that is one of my absolute favorite things on the shelf.
Yeah, that all box set should be like that. There's fucking magnets and the hardcovers with
Yep.
dust jackets, and it's so beautiful. And yeah, usually I have to take breaks when I read like a big series like that, or even like I buy a lot of omnibuses. You can see some behind me, and like I I love it. I like reading them that way, but I have to, I'll read like 10, 15 issues and sometimes need to take a break and switch it up. And Akira was not like that. Akira like grabbed me by the nuts and was just like, did not let go.
Let's
And
go.
I just ate up those books,
Yeah.
man. And I was like, oh, this is manga. This is what, and then recently I had another big deal. I used to think Dragon Ball was lame, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I was like, I never was really into it. My friends that were, I thought were stupid and had no taste. And I just finished Dragon Ball, 16 volumes of Dragon Ball. And I'm like, holy shit. And then now I'm like watching my favorite battles on the anime before I get into Dragon Ball Z. But I was like, well, I'm fucking 38 and realizing how wrong I am, that I'm just finally realizing that like, okay, Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z is like legit storytelling. And like, I've been wrong for decades, but
yeah. Akira was my low key intro to horror.
Ooh, nice.
So because I grew up, I was a terrified kid of everything. My imagination would just play games with me to no end. And then 13, 14 came along for me, and I found Akira and was like, all right, this is interesting. And then I kind of fell down the aliens well.
Ooh.
And then from there, it's snowballed into just I consume more horror movies than any healthy human being should.
That's the way to be. What about you, David? What got you by the, like, what grabbed you by the ankles and dragged you into a dark room?
You could say it. The nuts swung me around. Oh, I was a big Stephen King reader.
Nice.
When I was a kid. Over here, you can see there's a floor to ceiling shelf here of all of my Stephen King books.
Nice.
Yeah, so I've been a big Stephen King fan since I was about 10, 12 years old. You know, that's way too young to be reading some of his stuff. And
it's perfect.
But
perfect.
Here I am. Yeah, here I am. And I loved 80s horror movies: Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Hellraiser, Howling, American Werewolf from London. I think that was early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched all that stuff when I was a kid. Again, probably too young to be watching them. But I loved those. So that was my entry into horror. So I think just reading horror comics. I came to comics as an adult. I read things like Mad Magazine and Far Side and the Sunday Funnies when I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I didn't read comic books per se or single issues, anything like that. So I came probably close to 15 years ago when I started going to San Diego Comic-Con for like movies and TV and stuff. I looked around like, what is this? What is this comics you speak of?
What are these funny things?
And I think I picked up the first long form comic story that I read was Lock and Key.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's still tops for me as far as comic
one of my
storytelling.
favorites. Makes you cry, makes you scared, stresses you out.
And it was so creative and so wonderfully. Gabriel Rodriguez is so wonderful, such a wonderful artist. So creative, but it also showed me, I guess I conceptualized comics as like DC, Marvel, superhero, that sort of thing. And it showed me what is possible in comics. And so I think that's what set me on the path to start actually writing them. Yeah, and since then I've gotten the pleasure of experiencing Watchmen for the first time, and Fun Home, and what's the Batman one where it's God,
There's a lot of
First-
Batman ones, David.
I know, but it's a classic. It's on my shelf. It's like if you were to tell somebody, I want to read Batman. What story should I read?
Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, it
Hey,
was
that you
Dark Knight Returns.
give someone Miller as like their first. That's
Can
like,
I walk away from the
yeah,
screen?
I want to know. I want to know.
My shelf because
My,
I
yeah.
my Batman is Long Halloween. Like that's what I.
That's
refer
my
to.
Batman too.
Yes. See, I knew you guys.
Long Halloween and Dark Victory.
Yeah.
So my three are Court of Owls and that entire Capullo Snyder run in general. Long Halloween, and then what else do I have on the shelf here? Oh, Returns. Returns was huge for me.
Dang it, I have it.
Womp womp womp.
I'm gonna look for it.
Oh, and I really liked Grant Morrison's Bat Saga is up there for me too, and
I couldn't get into it.
Year one.
Oh, really? Oh, year
Oh
one.
yeah, so Miller. I was
Year
right. Yeah, there we go.
Year one. I read that. But I just had the experience. I got to experience all of these comics that lots of people had already read and experienced. So I got to do it for the first time, which was really exciting. It's been exciting to discover all these things for the first time. I really loved Watchmen. I just thought it was so.
Yeah.
It sort of defies dissection, I guess.
Yes.
I've thought about the story a lot and how he was able to
simultaneously dissects itself.
Yeah. It's like that Jacques Derrida, like the whole literary movement of like critique and deconstruction, right? Like as a college me nerd, but like that whole deal of like look at the house and then you strip off the paint and then you take the siding down and then you take the drywall down and you take the insulation down and you take everything away until you're left with the studs, right? And then you look at that and then you like then you start from there and then you go back and you add the elements and and he does that like through the fucking narrative and the characters and it's just so next level and still reads well. I know a lot of people complain about the prose sections. I don't. I mean it does. It's slower to read because it's prose, and I mean, a lot of comic writers don't like prose, or a lot of comic readers, don't like prose.
They don't like reading. That's why they give pictures.
I tell people my favorite comment on Watchmen is if this is what you give to a first time comic reader. It's like, no, this is absolutely the last thing you give them. This is like playing at the graduate level idea of what comics is, and not like in a pretentious way, this is what the medium as a whole is capable of, visually, literary wise. It is this complete package is what you can do with it. But it is by no means the book I recommend to people that want to get into comics.
Yeah, you gotta.
They'll never come back.
It's like going to a kegger. Like you go to your first kegger, you give somebody $5 for that Dixie cup, and they're like, "Oh no! Here's a gram of cocaine." You're like, "Whoa, but I just wanted a beer. I just wanted a beer." Now, okay, that's all I'll say. But it ramps it up.
Party time.
Like, start there, and it's just like, no, like read a regular comic, make sure you like it first before you dive into like a deconstructive study of like how a guy despises superheroes and how superheroes kind of like manipulate and ruin a genre while celebrating them simultaneously. I don't know how he does. This guy's a fucking monster. He's a genius, but a monster of a genius. I loved Watchmen. It blew me away. I watched the movie first, right? Like I didn't read the comic book till like after the movie came out, and then I was like, I got really, really into it. That's when I said like I was going to comic book shops buying before Watchmen. I was really excited about it, and all the purists were like, Alan Moore hates you for buying it. He hates your family because you bought it. And I'm like, I'm
Alan
having
Moore
fun with
hates
this, guys.
Alan
Yeah, I was
Moore
like, he
hates
hates everybody
everybody.
anyway. Like it's fine. I still want to read these comics. But and they were a mixed bag. But I bought them twice. I bought all the singles, and then I bought the omnibus later when the omnibus came out. So like, I liked it enough to do that, and I still have this. I really, really want to do this like Watchmen experience where you read the watch. I want to read like before Watchmen, the Watchmen, and then what is it? Peter Cannon Thunderbolt, that like unofficial sequel to the Watchmen. I want to like read all of that. I mean, like who has the time? Like,
That's a lot of reading.
It's a lot of reading, and when you're a comics press and you have a show and you work for a production studio as their marketing manager, it's like my
all I'm hearing is a lot of excuses.
Yeah,
Blake.
it's a lot of excuses. Basically,
he's got you. He got you. Listen, we produce.
That's why we put pictures.
We produced a 32. We produced a 32-page comic on top of a entire series that we're doing.
It only took 22 years, but we're here. We're here. We've made it.
Listen, we're an overnight success. It was very easy.
It's very funny to be on this side of comics, making them, seeing little bits and pieces of feedback, because I agree with you that people don't like to read, but then the best reviews and feedback that you get are from comics that have more words in them. So when you pare back the words and it's just pictures, people are like, I don't know if I want that. But then you put too many words in there, like, I don't know if I want that. So you literally have to, it's just alchemy. You have to turn nonsense into gold. And
it's a balancing act. And the way I was always taught with writing is that you never go above 27 words in any given like panel, balloon. You try and limit that. But even
who told you that? Because that is just absolute garbage.
That is, we'll talk offline about that. Degree in comics, go away.
That's fine. That's fine if it's a if it's a general guideline. But anybody who's counting the words is
don't let it hinder your storytelling. I see where it comes from, but don't keep yourself
of course
speaking.
But it truly is a balancing act that you have to constantly be keeping in the back of your head. And I'll bring it back to the Zoop project. That's horror in particular, I think it's, for a writer, it's probably even a little harder in comics, because so much of what they have to do is the behind the scenes guts of what the artist will visually put on the page. I think horror is much more of a visual storytelling medium, and more so in comics that the writing kind of punctuates a lot of the art. But there's so much writing and so much thought going into what drives the art forward that people won't see. But again, that's the balancing act of the whole thing.
You heard it here, folks. Drew Zucker says writing comic books is harder than drawing them.
Lies.
I'm just kidding.
That's been my experience with.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm just
that's been my experience with it. That it just you have to find the middle ground with it completely. And I have a feeling it's probably, if you ask any writer that does long form like books or anything like that, they probably have kind of the same balancing act that they have to find in their own way.
Yeah, and if I were you and I was cranking out gorgeous fucking pages like you were, I would definitely want that balancing act to be perfect, because I would be like, you need to keep your bubbles out of my awesome pictures, guys.
Oh no, he makes sure to pictures in the corner, as much of it as humanly possible.
Oh yeah, I do that every once in a while. I'll put in a panel, I'll be like, this needs to be a snappy conversation between two So I'll just put like one big panel and just have it be, and every time the letterer, the artist is like, well, I'm just doing what I'm gonna do. And the letterer's like, what am I supposed to do with this? I was like, I don't know. You do your thing. You do your thing. Put the little bubbles, little lines, little tails, all of you know how to put it together. Just do it. And everybody hates me.
if you ever want to see the kind of universal bickering between me and him, just look at the finished pages and the scripts and the differences, and you'll see the bickering visually between added panels and combined panels and script.
Nice. You guys are putting some of that back matter in the super secret, super spooky Zoop project, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Nice. I almost said the name.
Process.
I just caught myself and I was like, nope. It's very I was talking to Joel, and I were laughing. Joel, my boss, Joel Rodriguez, we were laughing about it because I was like, dude, I've never had creators want to come on my show to like not talk about their book before. You know, like, or like,
I know, and we realized that.
We
scheduled it. We're like, well, I guess we can't. Are we supposed to not do this and not talk about it? So you are the lucky one. You are, I think, the only one that we are doing before it's been actually announced and released. And again, I am just not the kind of creator who needs to make it mysterious for our own purposes. I just thought it was cool and this time to sort of keep it all a secret and then have an announcement. You know, in the universe, the grand scheme of things, none of it matters. So why not, right?
It matters. It's your guys'
we're not
baby,
freaking
and you get to bring your baby
Snyder,
into the world how you want to do it. Like, and I think it's cool. I like it. I like the mysteriousness around it. I liked the mysteriousness of the story.
Well, if we had never, I'll just put it this way: if you and I had never worked together before, and if we if we were sort of, this is going to sound like, everyone who's listening, please don't think I'm a just awful person. But
guys, if we
didn't have, the success of Canto behind us, and if we didn't have, folks who would be interested in this sort of thing because it's us, then this wouldn't work. I mean, we would have
100%. Revealed
it long ago and done this, but we're bringing over an audience from Canto, from the house, from the other projects that I've done. We're able to sort of do this. We're going to find out. We're going to find out whether we're able to do this, but we've given it a shot. So I hope folks, stick around for another week, and then we'll reveal it and we'll show artwork to it. And we have some cool variant covers.
I'm stoked to see
a whole variant,
the new covers.
A whole variant issue that we're putting together. It's going to be the same but different, and a lot of cool other incentives and add-ons and extra fun stuff for this campaign. And like I said, it's not going to be a Kickstarter where we're just trying to get the goal to pay for the creative. It's a Kickstarter where the goal is going to be very low, and we are just going to do pre-orders. They're limited, and that's it.
I like it. I like it. You're building tension. You're building tension in the comic book community around a very tension-rich story that you've created.
The nice thing is too, it's done. So obviously, there are horror stories about crowdfunding and stuff never getting done, or money going to people and it taking 3 years for a book to get done. Not the case here. We're done. Literally, it's lettered. The whole thing has been designed, processed. It needs to go to print. That's it. And that I think is something unique about it, and definitely because neither one of us ever wants to take money from people and not make good on it.
I'm you guys don't seem like thieves and charlatans. You seem like good guys. So like
and I am, but I don't want to. I know there's a conversation that's being had right now in comics and greater comics about crowdfunding and fulfillment and following through and that sort of thing. And I think there's everybody who does it really does have the intention of going through with this. I will never do a crowdfunding campaign where I need the like the campaign has to pay for the book. And that's why we chose this book. I almost said the name too just now, Blake. That's why we chose this book, this one shot that we knew that we could do. We could fund all of the colors. We could fund all of the lettering, all of the layout. Joel and Metal Ninja Studios, their amazing work on this. We were able to fund all of that without regard to raising any funds. So really for us, it's, I mean, I just love this approach to crowdfunding, because every book that's ordered pays for its own printing. So there's no real cost that we're going after above the printing of the book. So we can have as low a goal, as high a goal as we want, and we know that it's going to be met because each order pays for itself. Does that make? I hope that makes sense.
No, yeah, I got you.
And that's so it's really a pre-order campaign to get an exclusive Zoop. And it's going to have the little Zoop logo on the back, so you know that it's Zoop exclusive. And like I said, when it becomes a massive blockbuster, which it will absolutely 100%, no doubt about it, it's going to be a huge, just Watchmen level. No, I'm just kidding.
It's going to be, talk to me, a $4.2 million budget and like an $80 million return.
Right. Or Paranormal Activity.
There you go.
Yeah. No, but you know what I'm saying is you can get in there, you can get in this exclusive, and then you know, as things unfold, if you've perhaps speculated on its success, I hope you are rewarded.
David, have you done a crowdfunded project before?
Never ever.
Nice. So you're
terrified. I'm absolutely terrified.
I was about to say, you got the stress itches already.
I don't. If it was like I said, our goal is going to be very low. And I think if even the people who have signed up for the email, you know, to be notified, even if most of them back it, I think we're going to
Nice.
We're setting it up so that we're out of the gate, just like
nice.
And I think once we're able to kind of start showing some stuff off, it'll pique some people. You know, we've been dropping little teasers here and there on social media, but I think once people are able to get a full look at kind of the idea of what we've been doing, it'll draw them in. Yeah,
I think the interiors are gorgeous, and yeah, so once you guys start showing off some panels or pages, right? And I bet the variants. Like I said, I'm excited to see how your variant drops, but I'm thinking like all this will like really get people pumped. I mean, even this weird ass interview that you guys have put up with for an hour now, like, you know, like someone's gonna be like, I have no idea what this is. Like, I gotta sign up for it.
It's a secret.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That was a self-deprecating me joke, not on you guys. Like, that's why you guys were putting up with me.
We were kind of fun, but I guess we're weird.
No, we're weird. No, we're
all weird. We're all weird here. No.
Just kidding. I'm just messing with you, Blake. Yeah, no, it is a exciting and unusual moment just before the launch where we can only talk in code.
Yes.
But
next week we're talking
an eagle-eyed viewer who follows the link, you may be able to at least discern the title.
It's funny because so many times it's happened when I have a guest on, right? And it just the timeliness of it all, and just kind of how comics work. But like so many times, like, you know, people have come on and we're talking about a book, and you know, when you really like a creator and you're like, oh, so like, you know, something, what's next? You got something up your sleeve, or, you know, like anything you want to shout out?
No.
Yeah.
We've been shunned out of the industry, actually.
Yeah, they're right. Canto's too good. Get out of here. No.
Yeah, right.
But everyone's always like, oh yeah, I can't talk about it now. But there'll be like an announcement in like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
the most annoying thing.
Like, why am I always 3 weeks behind the big announcements? Like, one of these days, Blake's Buzz is gonna be there, where Blake's Buzz is gonna be the place where people go to be like, I'm gonna tell you what my actual book's title is, ladies and gentlemen. not like these guys. No.
Yeah, no. I don't know. I have my soapbox about saying things like, "Oh, I can't say anything." I'm just like, of course you could. You're literally your tongue has not been cut out of your
We,
face. You can
believe it
say
or not,
whatever you want.
no one. This industry does not generate enough profit for anybody to be concerned about much of anything. Trust me.
Right. No, I think a perfectly fine approach is to say it's a little early
Mm,
for us to reveal details. So as those things get more finalized, we're going to share a lot more.
yeah.
Or you can be like us and just complete monsters and say, well, we're specifically withholding this information
Well, at
because
least
we
we
want to
have,
see what happens.
but at least we have somewhere for you guys to go. So head to
Yeah.
that Zoop link.
Yeah. You go to that. You
That's
go to
the
that
thing.
link.
That's it.
Where
That's
is it?
it's about the dynamic of sharing. Um, it's like if you share, you, oh, this is such a soapbox, but you can go on social media and you'd be like, it's early for us to share, a lot of information, but here's some art, or here's a little bit of the story, or here's something. So you're actually sharing something with the audience. It's the people who just go on and vague tweet about, oh my
Big
God, I just
meeting.
signed the biggest contract of my life. And I'm like, so you know all the information, you've given the audience nothing. So there's this power dynamic now that you have taken all the power for yourself. And that is, I would never do that to the people who follow us. I would never do that. So I would share art. I would just share something so
Mhm.
that they feel like they're getting something and not just building yourself up to
Yeah.
be this important person. And I'm not
It-
talking about anybody in particular because literally everybody
Everybody does
does
it.
that.
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, and I
It-
hate
it's
it. I hate it so much.
it's all self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. I
They're
did
just
it.
trying to make themselves feel good.
Yeah, I did it. I used to get real like mad, but really what it was jealous when like other bloggers or press would be like, I just got to read something from like James Tynion or somebody, right? Like I just got to read like this new book and like I can't talk about it yet, but oh my God, you guys aren't gonna believe it. And I'm always like, you pricks, like that's
Yeah.
not helping any. And sometimes they
Yeah.
don't even say the creator's name, right? So like sometimes it's really just not helping
It's also
anything other
like
than
it's also about them. It's not even
yeah,
like when you say something like that, I just got to do this,
yeah,
you automatically are focusing the spotlight on you and not the thing that you're talking
yeah,
about. So, I mean, and that's kind of like if you get to read James Tynan's new book, you should be celebrating the book, not the fact that you got to
Yeah.
read it.
yeah.
And that's what, oh, this industry, it's like people celebrate the benchmarks in their career and they're not celebrating the actual substantive stories that
Yeah.
we're all telling.
Yep.
And it just drives me crazy. So uh, I wish I knew how to fix it other than just becoming a hermit, but this is attractive. Going to Ireland, just losing
Yeah,
myself.
just
in the
go to
middle of
Ireland. Just do that, everybody. Just,
surrounded by 40 shades of green and just as many rainbows as I could put in my eyeballs.
And no leprechauns.
none at all. No, I mean, hell, that sounds like a good idea to me, David. No, I agree,
I
and
know.
that's been something I've struggled with my platform is because I very much like I don't like like if I don't like a book, I don't cover it. You know, like I don't want to trash somebody's book
Yeah.
to start to get engagement, to spark comments and likes and retweets and get people talking. That's not
There's
the kind
enough-
of content I do. And so like I try to be very positive. I try and like really respect the work, respect the creators, and lift up that, right? And there's so many people that will just talk shit on stuff and get like their shows get watched a lot more than mine, and it's disheartening sometimes. But then at the end of the day, it's just like it's like taking dirty money, right? Actually, I would take dirty money because money can buy happiness. But it's all right. Forget that comparison. But it's still like I like to be positive and celebrate comics, not talk
It's like,
down
why do
on
you
them.
spend?
That's not just a
Yeah.
comics problem, though. That's an across the board.
Yeah, that's
problem.
like movies,
Yeah,
novels,
that's everything.
shows, everything. Yeah, it's anything.
Just imagine the
Taylor Swift
brain
dating
space.
Travis Kelce, just everybody's
Listen,
mad about that for some reason now. Like,
listen, that woman is on by herself is an actual economic factor. It's astounding. I've never seen it's incredible.
Can you believe that people expect they devote brain space to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce?
What are you trying
Like
to say?
forming an opinion of that.
Oh, okay. I was
They
like,
spend brain space.
I'm from Kansas City, guys. That was a big moment for us when Taylor.
No,
Swift
no,
came
and
there.
if you celebrate that, that's amazing because that's
No,
like
yeah, like
positivity.
the
That's
people
making you feel
talking.
good. It's all that.
Yeah,
But people who are like expending brain space to be like, well, why is she doing? I'm like, just focus
What
on
do
your
you
own stuff
care?
because I'm guessing all of your little things aren't in order yet. So
And
Yeah.
once that happens,
they're
then you can worry about Taylor Swift's dating a football player.
well,
Travis
and
Kelce, by the way, the mustache is working. I like it.
apparently, right? Yeah, like my
I
mom is always like, he's such a good looking guy. I hate his mustache, and it's like, well, Taylor likes it, so I think you got ruled out, Mom. Sorry. No, I like the conspiracy theorists out there right now who are like, it's all a marketing ploy, and it's like, what do either of them have to market? Like, she is one of the most influential people on the planet. He is one of the best tight ends in the NFL on a Super Bowl winning team. You know, like, what are they? His podcast ratings went up since Sunday. Like, okay, but I don't think he's worried about
when you as an individual affect the GDP growth of where you go, I have news for you. You with your small opinion about nothing doesn't matter.
Yeah,
It's the reality of it.
And also, I mean, I don't know. It's weird to me because my understanding of how the whole story started was that he just wanted to give her like a friendship bracelet at a concert,
yeah.
and she wouldn't see him.
Yeah.
And he's
podcast
even
has
said
gotten
I
weird.
was butthead. He got butthurt about it or
Yeah.
something. And I'm like, so that was all planted, you conspiracy theorists. That was all like started way back then, and then it kind of evolved, and now it's all a marketing ploy. And also, who cares? Honestly,
Now,
who
if you want to
cares?
talk about real marketing ploys, these guys.
Yeah. Speaking of marketing,
Coming on a podcast for over an hour, literally talking about nothing.
Nothing.
not talking about the book they're trying to sell.
Literally
welcome
avoiding
to our
talking
ploy.
about-
Come at me, conspiracy theorists.
Yeah. Let's talk about that. But no, I will let everybody know that like the shitty podcasters and press we just mentioned, I got to read this, you guys didn't. But it is a great one shot, guys, and it's good. It's so good, and I hope people sign up for your Zoop campaign, and I hope it does really well, and I hope you sell out of the issues. And did you guys want to mention New York, or are you waiting to announce that stuff too?
No, this could be breaking news. Breaking news right now on Blake's Buzz. We are doing a limited print run of 100 copies of a New York Comic Con exclusive variant for this super secret Booher Zucker project. So we are doing a signing on Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern at Hive Comics, which is, Drew, what's the booth number?
2823. Hang on one second.
Let's put it in the chat if we can.
You got it.
1 p.m. Saturday.
3823.
Booth 3823. And then, so we'll have, I think, 20 copies or 40 copies.
That will be, I don't know how many copies we're going to have for that one. That's going to be the majority of the probably 40 copies.
Nice.
40
If
copies.
you guys are going to be in New York, write that booth number down and get in line on Saturday, because I feel like
double signs. Exclusive. This is not a Zoop campaign exclusive. This is a New York Comic Con it's going to be a full issue. It's the entire book with a variant cover and a QR code on the back to go get your other exclusive variants from the Zoop campaign.
Nice.
Limited to 100 copies. 40 will be dropped at 1 p.m. at the booth 3823 on Saturday. And then I think it's Friday and Sunday, or Thursday and Saturday for the
Thursday.
Streams.
Yeah. As of right now, the stream times are being worked out, but the plan is to drop another 40 total
on Whatnot.
Between two streams.
What's your guys' Whatnot? How do we follow you there?
So you can we're going to be partnering with SMZ Comics for the Whatnot drop. So that's at SMZ Comics. You can put that in the chat. My handle is at David Booher on Whatnot.
And I am at Art of Drew Zucker.
So if you're at the show, you have the chance to get it in person. All of these will be
Yes.
double signed with certificates of authenticity. You'll get the double signed. You can get them at the show live. You can get them on Whatnot on 2 streams through SMZ Comics, and there'll be 20 copies and 20 copies. And then that leaves 20 copies left over for us to
For your
who knows?
podcast host. I just need one. I don't need all 20.
Blake
though.
Buzz. Yeah.
Just send me one. No, that's awesome. And again, like we joked, but I like this. I like the pre-Zoop con exclusive, and then the Whatnot exclusivity. That's gonna generate some buzz, right? And that's what you want, and you get people talking, get some people reading this before the campaign, and then get those people and go sign up, ladies and gentlemen. Like we talked about, like these are going to be limited release on Zoop. It's not going to be like a made to order deal. Like these can sell out.
Yeah.
And I feel like they will. I feel like these guys have enough. I feel like people who know these guys and know what they bring to the table and are ready for this super secret, super creepy, super awesome Zoop project are gonna get on it. And if you're not, you're a big fat dummy. So that's what I have to say about it. But
That's
no,
the official
That
line.
is the best pitch. Don't buy my stuff. You are a big fat dummy. Don't be a big fat dummy like this guy over here.
yeah, get out of here.
I want a T-shirt. I'm with the big fat dummy.
I'm a big fat dummy. I'm with big fat dummy. Yeah. So it should be exciting. I don't know if you can hear in the background, but my dog is going crazy.
Oh, I know how that goes. That's fine. But no, I've kept you for over an hour, and it's been so fun chatting with you. The one thing I forgot to bring up, I just want to bring up real quick, is because I read it and wanted to talk about it. And we mentioned it loosely, but it's spooky season, and Drew's The House is a trade paperback, which I didn't know until you mentioned it, that it came out on Kickstarter originally.
Yes.
and Dark Horse picked it up, which is very cool. It is a haunted house war graphic novel, like a wartime haunted house graphic novel, a little bit of House Leaves weirdness sprinkled in there too.
Yes. So I call it Band of Brothers meets the Amityville Horror.
Yeah, there you go. Ooh, I like that a lot.
So the quick pitch is a group of U.S. soldiers during the Battle of the Bulge get separated from their line and lost in the woods. They discover a house in the middle of the woods that has no rhyme or reason to be there, but because of a storm, they take shelter in it. And once they're inside, the door disappears and all sorts of horrific shenanigans ensue.
It's crazy shenanigans. And the reason I want to bring this up is A, because it's spooky season. B, you can get this right now from any bookstore. You can have your comic book shop order it. So you can buy it. You get it digitally. You can rent it on Hoopla. And so really encourage you guys to check this out, because it's a great read. It's really creepy, but you can really see how Drew just really excels in horror. Canto was beautiful, and I loved the fantasy, and I loved the character designs and some of the weirdness and the monsters and stuff in that. But like the creep factor of like what you do and how you make these characters emote in ways that make the reader feel the tension and feel scared and feel uncomfortable. Very, very strong. And that's one of the great things about the new super secret, super awesome, super creepy Zoop project, is it helps in that manipulation. Like the characters feel real and their emotions feel real, and it really brings you into the narrative and really heightens that tension, really makes it easy to turn the pages and get lost in this one shot. So I really encourage you guys to check out, if you haven't read Canto like me, do that too, but really check out The House. You can get it anywhere. See what Drew can do with horror, and then have David think of like David in this crazy, just one shot, one hitter killer script that he mixed in with.
I mean, I have written 2 horror series, so I it's just something that I love and I will continue to pursue. So I think for both of us, it's just been
It,
just so fun to put it to pair up beyond the fantasy of Canto to really bring
Yeah.
that to life.
Yeah. I want it to succeed, and just so like I want you guys to keep doing more of these. Like I think I really like these like one shot horror tales, right? And
Well,
like
we'll see
do
because
like 6
there's
or
an
7 of them, then put them in a big oversized hardcover. You can release
Yeah.
that later.
omnibus.
You know, like just print that money,
I mean,
guys.
if they're
That's what it's
this,
all about.
if yeah, so if they, I mean, maybe we'll pair up on another one shot, and then we can put them together into like a trade,
Yeah.
like a collection. And then if we do another couple, we can put those in their collection, and we'll keep going back to the well. Hopefully, this will be successful. That we can keep doing that,
yeah.
and through Zoop, which means that he and I can just. This is our projects. We don't have to be
Yeah, we
beholden to
just-
anybody.
Yeah. Yeah, you get to you
Which is
get to
great.
do what you want, right? And everything I've heard about Zoop and how they like cater to the creator and like really make the like you know, Kickstarter is more of like a on your own shoulders endeavor, and you
Yes.
got to really kind of handle everything. And you know, one of the things I think about is cool about Zoop. I don't know if a lot of people know this, is like they hit me up a lot. They hit me up on Twitter, and like they're like, "Hey Blake, you have show openings? Can we get some of our creators on your
Yeah.
show?" And you know, people at Kickstarter don't do that. There's no one at Kickstarter reaching
No,
out to
it's
podcasts trying to get
Zoop.
Kickstarter comics
Zoop
on.
is very, yeah. It's like it's like personalized support and treatment.
Yeah.
Like we're not on. We would
It's
never
been
be on calls with like the Kickstarter people, but we're on with Jordan and Eric who are behind the Zoop. We were just on with them yesterday, strategizing. So
I mean, I've now been down both roads, and you know, where Kickstarter is a very corporate kind of, you know, like you said, you're on your own for it. You have to figure out all this stuff. The experience at Zoop has been totally different, and you feel like you've got like an actual partner with you, and not
Nice.
just you engaging with, you know, the tools.
I like that. Yeah, they seem like good people. Again, chat, I apologize. There's people commenting. I'm a dick and just not saying anything. Grant Lakers in the house. What's up, Grant? We got Gary Proudly. Gary Proudly has a very, very good writer. Gary also agrees with you guys that Zoop, you're a person. Gary's done stuff at Zoop before. Gary makes
nice.
really dope comics. And then we got Joel saying the stash is coming back. I want to grow out the beard again. I'm not. Kelsey can have his stash. I'm growing out the beard for a while. It's starting. We're going into fall, winter. I need to keep my face warm. So I say that, and then I'll get like itchy and bring back the mustache or something. But I'm not pulling in no Taylor Swifts with my mustache. Got everybody like I know I look good.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah,
Come
right.
on.
Believe
I gave
in
myself a
yourself.
handlebar the other day.
I didn't know where you were going. You gave yourself a what? Oh,
Yeah, no, I had the full on.
I
I had the full on handlebar mustache going.
We got K-Pop's in the house. What's up, K-Pop? Thanks for tuning in. K-Pop's a big horror fan. K-Pop, find that link. Check it out. I feel like you'll definitely dig this. It'd be worth checking out. But yeah, one more question, guys. Are you gonna do any like any backlog bonuses? You gonna sell any like house trades or Canto trades or anything like that in the Zoop campaign for special tiers, or are you just sticking with the super? You are gonna do okay, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so there'll be add-ons for different books, different series. Canto, we're doing a special thing with Canto and the Secret Project that could be add-ons, super limited things that you can just sort of collect as part of the campaign.
Nice.
And Drew and I are going to get together after the campaign and make sure everything is double signed. And yeah, so it's an opportunity to really get some cool stuff from both of us.
And you're announcing it October 4th. When's the campaign going to go live? Or does it go live?
We're announcing it on October 5th, and the campaign goes live just shortly before. We've got an exclusive that's going to go out at a major horror outlet. So it's going to be kind of cool that we've got the big announcement and preview is going to be in a horror outlet rather than, comics only outlet, which will be great. And that's going to be next Thursday. And the campaign will be live just before that. So everybody who sees that and we post on socials can automatically go over to the campaign and already pledge.
Exciting. And if you guys go to that
Yeah.
link that we posted tonight, you will get email notifications letting you know when it's
Yep.
live, so that you can hop in and maybe get those fancy tiers, the super limited
One of the
stuff.
tiers, yeah, so some of the tiers are going to be limited to 50. Some of them, the variants are 150 and 100. So I imagine that those are going to be the ones that go fast.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you want to get in early,
Get in
quickly.
Well, I can't recommend it. I can't. K-pop says we won her over with the creepy eyeball. Yeah, it's a good creepy eyeball, and the fingers and the blood and the joints and the, oh god, that scene guys was so great. Lots of good scenes in this one shot, but that one in particular was very, very haunting and just like whew, just gave me the chills. Yeah, it's
Awesome.
very, very cool book. I'm very excited to see how the campaign goes for you. Very excited to see the cool stuff you guys offer. Real quick, this is the part, because I'm such a polite and generous and wonderful podcast host. Let everybody know where we can find you. If you guys have newsletters or Substacks or anything, you can shout them out. David, where's the best place to keep track of you at, bud?
I'm mostly on Instagram at David M. Booher. I'm on X, formerly known as Twitter, at David Booher. I'm on Whatnot a lot, so follow me there at David Booher. And Facebook if you're nasty. And Blue Sky, Threads. I don't know what else exists.
I like it. You're everywhere. That's why you gotta be everywhere. If you're gonna, why not get on all these places and just like put those blasts out? It's free advertising. You gotta let the people know where to buy your shit.
Yeah, follow me on Instagram and Whatnot. Those are my two most active social medias.
Nice. And then Drew, what about you?
My same thing with me. My most active is Instagram and Whatnot. So on Instagram and Whatnot, I am at Art of Drew Zucker. On Twitter, because fuck you, Elon, it's not X, it's Twitter. I am at Drew_Zucker, and I am on Facebook. There is a Facebook page for Art of Drew Zucker. And then I'm on Blue Sky, same at Art of Drew Zucker.
Nice. I'm gonna have to follow you guys on the other stuff. And I apologize, I posted the wrong Whatnot deal in the chat. So it's Art of Drew Zucker on Whatnot, right?
At Art of Drew Zucker, yeah.
Okay. Follow these guys on Whatnot. It's Whatnot's I hear it's a cool platform. I'm gonna have to get back on there and spend some money, I guess.
It's great for us. You can get directly from us.
Nice.
Signed everything, merch, these little Canto figures if you're a Canto fan.
Yeah, I'm definitely
when we find goodies in our collection, usually where they end up.
I just posted a show for Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. That's going to be those figures plus some trading cards, some pins, some Canto stuff.
Nice.
Stuff.
All right. Well, yeah, check that out on Friday. Everybody, please go to the link. It's in the chat. It's in the YouTube description for the video. If you guys watch it now, watch it later. It's going to be on like the Facebook page and everything. If you guys follow them on social media, they've also posted the link. Follow this Zoop campaign. It's going to be really cool. I promise you, you're going to love this one shot, because I sure as fuck did. It was just great. It was creepy, and it's going to be a really, really good element to the spooky season. And guys, unless you got anything else you want to shout out or anything, I'll play the music and set you free.
The Rapture.
Let's go. If you love us, Blake, you will set us free.
Everybody, escalator.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching tonight. For the viewers, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for chatting. Always remember, love more, hate less, read comics. I'll be back tomorrow with some cool guests. I'll see you then. And everybody have a great night. Sign up for Zoop. Follow these awesome guys. Read fucking Canto, because oh my god, it's good. And we will talk to you all soon.
It's Blake's Buzz Live.